May 23rd, 2022. That wasn't yesterday. That was yesterday. The IMF at Davos, Switzerland said the world economy is going to hit the biggest financial headwind since World War II.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know what I mean? That's what we want to talk about. But more importantly, what can you do? So George, welcome back. You had a fantastic event in Dallas, the Collect.
Yeah.
And we talked about it is, when you think about what are your assets today, if you're hanging out with idiots, you're probably an idiot.
Yeah.
And so when you and Kenny put on the Collective, I'm just blown away at the quality of people that showed up. They're already wealthy and they're proactive moving forward.
Yeah.
And then I'm in Walmart looking at another breed of character running around there. They're clueless.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for doing a great job at the Collective. Fantastic.
Well, thanks for coming. And it's the same thing with Rebel Capitalist Live at the end of June. And that's another investment conference we do. You're going to be speaking. And people like Snyder and Joseph Wang.
Snyder.
We were talking the other day about how
Jeez.
you're kind of the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself by. And I think that's extremely true. So if you can continue to grow your network, and always strive to be around smarter and smarter people, I think that's going to bring you up, and you're going to see the world in a much different way, and it's going to increase the probabilities that you achieve what you want to achieve in life.
Right. And what I was talking about is who are your teachers?
Right.
And what I found overall, because my whole fascination is why are some people rich and why are some people poor? But in 2022, the gap between rich and poor is now accelerating. It's getting wider than the Grand Canyon, but a lot of the times the people that are getting poor is simply because they had poor teachers.
Yeah, that's right.
Their parents are poor, or they come from a poor background, or like in my case, they're all school teachers who think you've got a PhD, that's all you need.
Yeah, and unfortunately too, if they don't see the world the way it really is, they assume that the solution or the solutions that are presented to them by the central planners and the politicians.
Correct.
They just take that at face value, is that, the solution for bridging the inequality gap, if you will, is just to tax the rich. We'll just take everything from the rich and we'll just let the politicians take what they want and then just give the table scraps to the poor, and somehow that will reduce the wealth gap. But as Margaret Thatcher said, that'll just make everyone equally poor. What we want to do is we want to make the poor and middle class, we want to make them richer.
Correct.
And for whatever reason, it's because those people don't have that financial education that you've been talking about for the last 30 or 40
Correct.
years.
You don't get it in school.
Yeah, they assume that the way that you again, bridge that gap is by taking from one group. So somehow there's like this fixed pie, and we have to realize that in free market capitalism, that pie continues to grow and grow and grow, and that brings up the quality of life for the people at the bottom.
So you invested in property. Where was your property?
In Kansas City.
Perfect place.
Yeah, and my objective might help some people kind of think about real estate or assets in a different way. The first goal that I had when I retired is just to look at my monthly expenses and say, how can I get my money to cover those expenses?
Yeah.
You see? And so how can I get my cash flow to cover these things? So then I know that I'm never drawing my savings down.
Right.
And I think it sounds easy and it sounds commonsensical, but very few people just kind of connect those dots and realize that if they can create enough cash flow with their portfolio to cover their monthly expenses, that is when you're financially free. Back in the late 90s, everything was .com and they were getting these billion-dollar valuations. And it is true that the internet was the future. Yeah, it is true that the internet was the future, but not all those companies. 99% of them go bust. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll most likely be the same with crypto. There will come, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum will come out winners in the long run and will be here. I don't know what purpose they'll serve. I don't know if they'll be transactional in the case of Bitcoin or be more of a digital reserve asset, store of value. I'm not quite sure, what place it'll play, but I think it'll most likely play out the same way the .com bubble burst in the 1990s.
But I didn't know this. They're committing suicide.
Oh yeah, there's a whole Reddit is going crazy over this crash. In fact, Reddit, it's another social platform. Okay, so they're talking. Friends of theirs committed suicide. They lost millions in this stable coin.
You know what was fascinating is I did the Fresh and Fit podcast. Those two young guys out in Miami. I think you know. And I was talking to them offline about cryptocurrency, and they said that their friends, in this 20-year-old age group, are so into crypto that that's all they have. And to the point where, excuse me, a lot of times the Fresh and Fit guys will have to lend them money for lunch. Not because they don't have money, but all their money is in crypto, 100% of it.
They're
and
crypto
not just
billionaires, but no cash.
Yeah, or millionaires or thousandaires, maybe in this case. But it's not in Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's in all these lesser-known altcoins that they think are gonna or have the potential to go up 1,000x, and they're trying to be the next superstar on Instagram, billionaire or whatever that gets rich in crypto. And then they just get completely wiped out, and it gives them that very, very difficult lesson that young investors have had to learn throughout the ages, that it's not different this time. To your earlier point,
right. We've been through this before.
Yeah, but I've heard that. No, it'll never go down. And going, the moment I hear that, I know it's going down.
Yeah, and there's always. Jim Rogers, I think, articulated it beautifully in the Market Wizards books, where he says you've just got to buy panic and sell hysteria. And sometimes, you can tell when there's hysteria, and when Bitcoin was at 65,000. And now I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin.
Me too.
But you got to pick and choose when you buy based on that panic and hysteria. And there was I was seeing it on Twitter nonstop. I was seeing it in social media. I was seeing it in all these chat rooms like Clubhouse, where the hysteria was just mind-boggling. And that's something that I think people can sense, but they need to make sure they're not getting caught up in that emotional frenzy. They're going to make bad decisions.
I have a great story. So you know how you say when you get out of real estate when everybody becomes a realtor? What's the cashier gives you, call me. Okay, here's how I know I can't trust crypto yet is my mother-in-law, who's 75, sent my husband a text saying, I think I want to get into crypto.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to drop back and punt.
Yeah, or at least that tells you now's not the right time to buy.
Yeah.
Now's not the right time to buy it.